Hello students, in this video we are going to learn about clock distribution. In our previous video we learned about the generation of the clock as well as we learned how to stabilize the generated clock. So we are doing all these things to make sure that the external clock is being given properly to the internal devices or the internal units. Means before the clock, that is our external signal or the external clock, before it has been driving the internal units, I have to generate the particular clock. We used a chain of inverters, the latch based circuitry, ring oscillator and the crystal oscillator by which we generated the clock. And by using the phase lock loop, we did the stabilization to the generated clock such that the internal clock as well as my external clock are properly synchronized. Now, what I must do, I must properly route the clock that is generated to all the different units or the blocks inside my IC. So the generation of the clock is important. At the same time, the generated and the stabilized clock which has to be distributed is most important. So there are several techniques which are available for distributing the external clock to all my internal units. So routing is a challenging task. This is nothing but distribution is nothing but I'm calling it as a routing. So this routing is a challenging task. So the IC or my integrated chip will be having so many receiver points. Means there will be various modules or the various sequential circuit inside my chip. Those will be waiting for the clock. So the external clock that is being generated must be properly given to my internal clock at the same time. So the generated clock has to be properly distributed to all the receiver points or the units. So only then my IC is going to work. So the receiver units will be at different distance. Means one block will be at one distance or some other block will be at different distance. But still my clock has to be routed to all the units which are at different distance. If there are different distance, it means all my clock signals will be connected with my chip through various interconnect, nothing but a wire. So all the wires do have some delay, and because of that, as we know that my delay will be proportional to the square of the interconnect length. Okay, so when my length increases, my delay is also going to increase. A simple logic. Now what is going to happen? We know that there are various units and all these units will be connected with interconnect, and as all the units are at various distance, every unit will be having different delay. So the unit which is at a longer distance will be having the most delay. Now what is the meaning of this? The units will be receiving the clock at two different times. This is nothing but clock skew. So what is the thing? On my receiver unit or inside my chip, various blocks will be there, and all these blocks, for example, for your understanding purpose, I'm saying that it will be having various sequential circuit. So all the sequential circuit must receive the clock, and as these circuits are at distance and the delay is proportional to the wire in which it is connected. So because of that, the clocks will be arriving to all the units or all the sequential circuits at different time. This is nothing but a clock skew. What we must do, we must reduce this skew, only then the circuit will properly work. So for reducing my skew, we must properly route the clock to all the units. So if you don't reduce the skew or the time in which the clock has been arriving, there will be a problem. So for reducing the skew, we must properly route the clock to all the units. So what I can do, I can use several techniques as I meant earlier. So there are various techniques. The first technique is called a subgrouping. So imagine that the blocks is nothing but it is a chip. Okay, inside a chip there are various units. Those are called as receiver units. Now what I must do is, see, I'm having an external clock. This clock has to be given to all my chips. So internal clock has to be given to all the units. So all the units are waiting for the clock. Now I can't just like that go and give the clock to all the signals. What will happen? one unit which is at this point will be having the lesser delay. Consider this, there is an external clock over here. So this external clock will be connected to the first receiver point in small length, and thereby the delay for receiving my clock will be less when compared with the unit which is at a farther distance. Can you understand what I'm saying? There will not be any synchronization between the external clock and the internal clock because all the units are at different distance. So what I am doing is, first I'm going to group my receiver units randomly. Okay, all these units are called as receiver units, and I'm going to group all the units randomly. But this is a challenging task. How I'm doing is, first I can group with 4 units each. Okay, so first 4 units, for example. Okay, it's not like only 4 units. I'm just grouping my units with 4 units each in a group. So consider this, I'm having 4 groups, and each group is having 4 units. So based on 4 units, I have grouped into 4. Okay, there are 4 groups of the receiver points. But what has to be done? Internal routing has to be done. But thing is, instead of driving it individually, I can drive the group at the same time. So I can just drive all my groups at the same time. But still, what I must do, I must route the internal units also. So for routing the internal units, what I can do is, I can connect my units either in vertical dimension or in horizontal dimension. Okay, I can just connect the units either in a vertical fashion or in a horizontal fashion. Okay, so as only then what is the logic behind this? Assume that I'm having a clock in this point, it will be at an equal distance, so all the units will be getting the equal or clock at the same time. But what is going to happen, still this is of no use, because though I grouped and I did the internal routing, these are randomly connected and I can't get the vertical or the horizontal dimension, and the clock is not going to reach the receiver units at same time. So this is of no use. So what I'm doing is, I'm going for the next technique, which is called as a partitioning. So in partitioning, the entire chip is being divided into 2 blocks. Okay, so the entire chip is being divided into 2. Again, this 2 divided block is being further partitioned into the 4 blocks. Again, I am going to partition my block in such a way that only 2 units or 2 blocks is present in each partition. Okay, so in each partition, I'm making sure that only 2 blocks are present, and partition until each partition there is 2 units each. Okay, so up to how much time I must partition? I must partition until inside each partition there must be only 2 units. So now what I can do, I can internally route the clock to the 2 units. Only 2 units are available. So just by placing a clock, I can route it either in a vertical fashion or in a horizontal dimension. But still, what is going to happen? See, that has been partitioned into 2. The 2 has been further partitioned into 4, and the 4 has been further partitioned such that in each partition I have 2 units. And again, I did routing by just providing the vertical connection such that a clock is over here. I can directly provide the internal clock to both the units at the same time. That was a logic behind this idea, but still it was not a good idea, because still the units are randomly placed, and so the units are receiving the clock at different time. So partitioning is also not a good idea. So what is the other technique that we can use is, consider there are 4 blocks. Okay, consider there are 4 blocks or 4 units each, and a clock is placed over here. Consider X is my external clock. So if X is the external clock, assume that these 4 blocks are at equal distance from my point X. X is going to produce the external clock, and this external clock is going to drive 4 units, and they are at same distance. So you have to make sure that all the blocks are at the same distance. The clock X is driving other 4 blocks at equal length. These 4 blocks named as A. Okay, X is driving 4 blocks, and these blocks are at the same. Blocks are nothing but units. So these 4 units are having the same distance, and so I am driving the clock X with the help of all these 4 units. And now these 4 blocks in turn will drive another 4 blocks. So inside this A, there will be again 4 more units, and this A is going to drive the 4 more units which are at equal distance from A. So what is going to happen? This is the delay problem will be reduced because everything is at the same distance, and the clock will be synchronized with the receiving clock. because X has been at the center and it is been given or driven to 4 blocks which are at equal distance, which in turn A is in turn having 4 more units. Still the same logic is happening, but what is going to happen? The capacitance is important. So the load capacitance of each receiving unit must be the same. But I can't make sure that this unit and this unit is going to have the same capacitance. So because of that, this is a physical designing will become a major problem, because while doing a layout, I can't make sure that which unit is having the largest capacitance or which is having the smallest capacitance. And for receiving and for accommodating all my receiver point, this can't be done. So what I'm saying is all my receiver point cannot be accommodated because we don't know how much capacitance will be there in each receiving units, or how much capacitance should each block must drive. We don't know. So making a layout of such a task is highly impossible. And for that, we are moving to another technique which is called as a driver tree. In driver tree, what I'm doing is from clock to the load means, see the diagram, I will show you the diagram. See, from the clock, these are the load points. Okay, these are the load point. So this clock has to drive all the loads. Okay, these loads are present and the clock is connected to the load with the help of an interconnect. And we know that interconnect is directly proportional to the delay. And now thing is, instead of having a particular length, a longer delay line or a longer interconnect, I can break my interconnect into parts. So consider that this block, okay, this inverter is, why am I using an inverter? To increase the signal strength. See, we have broke the interconnect path, but we must make sure that the signal must not lose its strength. For ensuring that I'm having a driver, or I can call it as a buffer or an inverter, and this is in turn going to drive 4 more inverters, and again this is going to drive 4 more inverters. We will make sure that all the load capacitance are the same. Okay, so how we can do is, we can size our inverters in such a way all the receiver points are driving at an equal capacitance. So all my drivers or the receiver points are driven at a same load capacitance. So what is this? Clock and the load are connected with an interconnect. So the delay, we know that it is proportional to the length. So we are breaking my interconnect into parts. And as the signal strength must not be reduced, we are using the buffers. Group the receiver points. Okay, we have done the grouping of 4 each. And these units are to be driven by an inverter, which is in turn driven by another inverter. Okay, is it okay? The size the inverter, so every inverter or every receiver gets the clock at the same time. First, what we did the grouping. Okay, after that we must make sure that all the clocks are receiving at the, or all the load or the drivers or units are receiving the clock at the same time. So what we can do is to make sure that we must size our inverters. So what I did, I made the sizing one, this is smallest one and still larger in size and still larger in size. That is nothing but the logical effort, and at the end this is the point X, and X is the clock, and that is given at same point to all my driver units or all my receiver point. First what we did grouping. By breaking the interconnect, we did the grouping, and then what we did, we used the drivers or the buffers in between to make sure my signal strength is not reduced. And at the end, I just did the logical effort by increasing the size of my inverters, so that at the receiving point, at the point X, the clock which is being generated will be given to all, or it will be distributed or routed to all my receiver point at the same time. This will happen only when the system is symmetric. What if the system is non-symmetric? In such a case, I can go for an asynchronous system. In asynchronous system, I am not in need of any clock signals. So certain control signals will be given to the unit with the process of handshaking. They will be exchanging the particular information, or the certain instructions will be executed without the need of any clock. Only if I need a clock, all these clock generation, stabilization and distribution is needed. If the system is asymmetric, I can go for an asynchronous system, and in such cases, just with the help of control signals, I can provide the operation. So this is all about the clock distribution. I hope you understood the video. Thank you.